Hello YouTube, this is Alex here back again, and I would like to talk about something that is always on my mind, mainly because I'm still partaking in these activities, which is high school. Fortunately enough, I'm in my final semester of high school, just getting it through day by day, and I dread every moment of it, for several reasons. Not necessarily to have a pessimistic attitude on things, but sorry. I just really, truly disdain high school for a series of reasons. And I've made similar videos to this in the past, but I want to cover high school specifically and make this a primary focus of my discussion. And actually, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and high school it just really does suck. It really is a one-of-a-kind place where people go through all these changes. It's a very special place, you can say. And, I don't even know where to begin. There's just so many aspects of it that are just horrendous, that are just so horrible. I just hate it so much, and I'm pretty sure most others do. Despite maybe, granted, it might be for different reasons, but at least we share the similarity of contempt towards high school. Now, one of the things that I just can't stand about high school are the standards, the very generalized system of learning, the just straight across the board, okay, this is what you have to learn, you have to memorize this, everyone has to memorize this in the same exact way, and there's not really going to be much alteration or changes for each individual. There's no, development, or there's no healthy development, or there's no direct development of proper critical thinking skills, or evaluation, or analysis. Or at least, if there is, it's more restricted. It's more confined to what they want you to learn. You don't really have any personal exploration of different knowledge, and if you do, it depends on the circumstances. Like I said, it's very repressive, and it's extremely restricted to something very minuscule or something very small. I mean, you might have a couple of projects where you have some creative freedom, you might have some form of expression or some form of thinking or higher thinking, but for the most part, overall, you do what they tell you to do. You do everything, you have to obey everything, you pretty much have to straight across the board just memorize everything that they tell you to memorize without question. And I just think that's what a drone would do. That's really what someone who's brainwashed would do. That's really what a slave would do. I mean, that might seem like extremes, but it's not too far from the truth. It's not too far as similarities go, or traits. And another aspect that I really just despise are the other people that you're associated with, or the other people you have to see every day. Now, I don't really have any hatred towards them. I don't really want to judge them. But, it gets old after a while, and even though you have to put up with it, it's not fun. I mean, you might use the argument, well, you have to put up with people that you don't like in life always. While that may be the case, they're not going to be hormonal, stupid, or even just outright ridiculously obnoxious or flamboyant or immature, teenagers going through these particular stages in life. And of course, many people don't grow up in life. Many people don't go through the necessary stages or prerequisites that they need to properly adapt mentally and emotionally. Some people are completely immature their entire lives. But that's besides the point. It's a time where human beings are just overall, that we are capable of some really nasty things. we truly are nasty creatures, or at least we're capable of such capacities. We're capable of these just absolutely atrocious things. So many things we can do that are horrible. And by nature, it translates, let's take a high school scenario. You can imagine, like, how horrible, at least some of the mindsets must be of certain individuals in high school. You can imagine, and of course, there's plenty of exceptions. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of great people, brilliant minds. I'm pretty sure there are creative thinkers. There's always creative people. There's always going to be some person who stands out, or some people who stand out, some bright people, bright minds, that whole thing. But overall, the entire learning environment isn't. It's just a pathetic excuse. And educational, that term, I've actually talked about this before. I've said education is another. Something. Let's say your education is another form of indoctrination in the interpretation of someone else's mind. Someone else's indoctrination is your education. It goes vice versa both ways. And everyone's term of enlightenment or education differs, of course. Sorry, my throat's dry. Everyone goes through stages in life, but high school is that true, legitimate exception where it can be very unbearable at times. You are forced to go into, roughly 5 to 6 classes a day that you probably don't want to be there for the most part. As a matter of fact, there's probably only 2 classes that I legitimately enjoy and partake in, but one of the major issues with high school, one of the major problems, is that they don't teach you, for the most part, practical living skills. Skills that you will actually need to survive after you're done with high school. And many people argue, many teachers or instructors or many school boards will argue, you need mathematics or algebra or geometry. You need all these standardized things to function in society and to do all these things. Well, if that's your argument, then why aren't you teaching people, how to make a resume, or how to do, what do you say during a job interview? Why don't you have classes or instructions that teach young-minded people these very vital things that you need for basic survival in our current society? Why don't you teach how to file taxes? Why don't you teach, basic living skills? Practical things you're going to actually use. Because, let's face it, a great amount, it might differ. I'm not going to say something specific, but let's just give an example. Let's just say, like, 60 to 90%, within that range. Let's just say that. Let's say 60 to 90% of the knowledge that you acquire in high school, you're not going to apply in the life that you will have afterwards. You're not going to have any applicability towards things you're going to do outside of high school. Granted, let's say, you learn, maybe language arts, you might learn history.